Hey students, I'm going to just go over a few problems of the Unit 3B test study guide that I gave you in class. I highlighted several problems like number 4 and 5, 12 and 13, 20 and 21, 26, 27, 28, and 29. So I highlighted these just to kind of advise you to focus on those more. Make sure you do those for sure to prepare to pass the test. These are just 2 points, and I know it's asking you for slope, but you need to have the skill of writing this as an equation in mx plus b form. I'm going to go over one problem only, and hopefully you apply to the others. So these are all the same practice. I'm going to go over number 20. Okay, so all of these, try to write them as mx plus b. So to find the equation of these 2 points, we need to find an m value and a b value. M is your slope. B is your y-intercept. So focusing only on this problem, we have to find slope by doing the formula of slope. Y minus y, x minus x. That means we're going to look at our y values and write -9 minus -2 over -3 minus 4. You could type this in the calculator or do it by hand to get the answer. So I'm just going to do it by hand. Well, actually, no, I have a calculator handy. Let me just display it here. Let me readjust the screen. Okay, so we're going to do control divide and type -9 minus -2, so that -2, and -3 minus 4. So the slope here is 1. Okay, so let me put that here. This is equal to 1. We're going to have the equation of 1x, and then now we need to find the b value. So there are 2 different ways to do that, and I'm going to demonstrate both ways. The first way, it's a longer way. We use the point slope form equation or formula. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. You pick a point from the ones you're given, so I'll just pick that one. And you're going to use the slope, the m. So this point is going to be your x1 and y1. You're going to replace them here, here, and here. You're going to have y minus your y1, which is -9, equals m, which is 1, x minus -3. Then we're going to see that this is double negative, so that creates a plus. And here, same thing, double negative creates a plus. Next, we distribute the 1 and plug it in there. So now we have y plus 9 equals 1x plus 3, because 1 times x is 1x, 1 times 3 is 3. And to get this to be y equals mx plus b, we just got to get rid of this 9, cancel it. Positive 9 cancels with -9. So we put -9 on this side as well. And now your answer is y equals 1x, and positive 3 minus 9 is -6. So that's one way to get that equation. Another way, it's writing y equals mx plus b and substituting the y, the m, and the x. The y comes from the y value in your point, -9 equals, the m comes from your slope, so 1. X comes from the x value in your point, so we put times -3 plus b. We multiplied these 2, and now you have -9 equals -3 plus b. And now we need to isolate the b. So we're going to add 3 to cancel it and add 3 over here. Negative 9 plus 3 is negative 6, and that equals your b, which is what we were looking for here. So that means we just put negative 6, and this is your equation. And notice that these two equations are the same. So it's up to you which method you want to do. You can either use point-slope form and find your equation right away, or you could use this equation to find your b after you found your m, and then put it together. All right, so that's the same to number 21. Practice that. And practice number 4. And number 5 is special. So let me go over that one. When students were working on this in class and they did the slope, y minus y, x minus x, they put 7 minus negative 2, negative 11 minus negative 11. And then let me type that in the calculator. That's 7 minus negative 2 and negative 11 minus negative 11. So it says undefined. That means, no, you didn't make a mistake. It's just this is an undefined slope. So let's write that down. Slope is undefined. So with that, you need to remember, if the slope is undefined, then that means this doesn't exist. And the b value, well, that's the y-intercept. So let's make a little sketch of the x and y axis and see where these points are. Negative 11 is 11 to the left and 7 up. And negative 11 to the left and down 2. So these points create a line that looks like this. That is a vertical line. And when you have vertical lines, they never touch the y-axis, so you won't have a y-intercept either. That means this equation cannot work. So the equation that works when you have vertical lines is writing down x equals and then the number that it's touching on the x-axis. These 2 points have a negative 11, so that means negative 11 is where it's touching on the x-axis. And that's the answer. I hope you apply it in future examples, but the one you really need to master is this. Writing an equation in mx plus b form given 2 points. All right, let's try another thing that you need to know. Number 12. Number 12 goes over the skill of rewriting standard form into slope-intercept form. Couple of reasons why. If you have these written in a slope-intercept form, you can graph them in your calculator and check which one matches this. Or you could write the equation for this graph by hand, identifying the slope and the y-intercept. And then after you convert these, you match them. So let's first convert all of them because we have to do that. The steps for that will be add or subtract x term and divide by coefficient of y. So those are the 2 steps. Let's look at letter A. I'm just going to kind of separate right here into 4 spaces. Letter A, we have 2x plus y equals 4. First, we're going to add or subtract the x term. So this x term needs to be canceled by subtracting on both sides. Then you have y equals, and then these 2 are separate, so we're going to write negative 2x plus 4. The next step will be to divide by the coefficient of y, And in this case, the coefficient of y is a 1. So if we divide each part by 1, it's dividing by 1. So everything will be the same. Anything divided by 1 is the same. So this one becomes y equals negative 2x plus 4. And just to clarify again why, 1 divided by 1 is 1. Negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2. 4 divided by 1 is positive 4. So that is letter A. Let's try letter B. We have 2x minus y equals 4. So very similar to the previous one. Sorry, let me write that in blue so it stands out. Very similar to that one, the only difference is now you have a negative y instead of a positive y. So we're going to do the same steps, move the x to the other side by subtracting, add or subtract the x term. Bring this down and be very careful. Make sure you write negative y. Carry that negative with you. And this side will be negative 2x plus 4. Here, we said that it's just the same answer because you divide by positive 1. But here, we have a negative 1. So we're going to divide each part by negative 1. And now that's going to result in y equals, because negative 1 divided by negative 1 is y, 1y. Negative 2 divided by negative 1, that's a positive slope of 2. And 4 divided by negative 1, that's a negative 4. All right, let's try letter C. Practice, practice. So now we have x plus 2y equals 8. And again, I'm going to transform this to blue so it can stand out. And add or subtract the x term is your first step. So we're going to subtract the x from both sides and bring this down. So now we have 2y equals, and between these two, we're going to do negative x first plus 8. From there, the coefficient is a 2. So it's add or subtract the x term, divide by the coefficient of y. So we divide by 2. And the answer here will be y equals, that negative has a 1, invisible 1 there. So 1 divided by 2 is negative 1/2 x. 8 divided by 2 is a positive 4. So letter C is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. And last example. X minus 2y equals 8. X minus 2y equals 8. Similar to this one, once again, the positive became negative. So now we're going to do negative x to cancel that. Negative 2y equals negative x minus, no, it's positive 8. So plus 8. Then we're going to divide by the coefficient of y. So the coefficient of y is negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. We're dividing by negative 2. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just positive 1, so that's y. Negative 1 divided by negative 2, that's going to result in a positive 1/2 x. And positive 8 divided by negative 2 is a negative 4. So this one will be y equals negative 1. I'm sorry, no, not negative. Y equals positive 1/2 x minus 4. All right, so pretty much we did 4 examples in one. And this is your slope, this is your y-intercept. So we're going to just compare the graph and see what it has. We have a graph touching right here on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're looking for a b value that has positive 4. Letter A has a positive 4. Letter B has a negative 4, so B is not an answer. Letter C has a positive 4. Letter D has a negative 4, so D is not an answer. Between A and C, the difference is the slope. They're both negative, so this line looks like it is negative because it's going down. Now we need to check if it's negative 2 or negative 1/2. Negative 2 is a whole number, so we're going to put it over 1. This means that your rise over run here is rise down 2 and across 1. This one says rise down 1 and across 2. So let's check which one works. This point to another point to the line is down 1 and across 2. Check that it follows the pattern of down 1 and across 2. So it does. That means this is the slope that you have right now. And the answer would be C, because that's the one that has the negative 1/2. But remember, you do have your calculator. And this calculator can do the graphs for you. You can just type it in here, type the equations you got, negative 2x plus 4. That is going down and it's touching at 4, but this is an x-intercept of 2. So if you look at what you have, let me see. We are not in the sketch touching 2, so it's not A. And then the second one is y equals 2x minus 4. And right away you see that this graph is going up and it's touching down here. So that's a no. Let's do another one. Y equals negative 1/2. Let me type it like this, it's easier, or takes it correctly. X plus 4. So that black one does look like it's going down. It's touching at 4, and the x-intercept looks like it's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like at 8. Here we run out of space, but again, this one does go all the way over here, so it could be. And then the last one is y equals positive 1/2 x. I'll just put it in parentheses. Minus 4. So definitely this pink one is also a no. So the only one out of these 4 graphs is the black one. So just the only thing you really have to master is rewriting these into mx plus b, so you can just type them in your calculator and find the match. All right, let's go over 3 more questions. I'm going to go over a parallel and perpendicular one, and then I'll do line of best fit. Number 26 is asking you to write an equation that is parallel to this equation right here and passes through this point. So as soon as you see parallel, you're going to say the slopes are equal. A parallel line has equal slopes. Here is the equation they're giving you. And identify the slope here. Y equals mx plus b. M is just the number next to x. So it's just that one. So your slope is negative 4. And we're going to use the same slope because they're equal. So this is the slope we're using. We have a point given to us. So this kind of goes back to what we did in this problem. Let's see. Right here. Once we had a slope, we picked a point, and we did the point slope form to get to the equation. But we also have the option of using that point and plugging it in here to find the b value. And then you put together the slope and b value to find your equation. So once again, I'm going to show you both methods. We are going to do first the y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And we're going to use the point that's given right here. This is your x1, y1. So we're going to have y minus -1, and the slope is -4, x minus -2. And like the previous example where there's double negatives, this becomes a plus. Okay, now we're going to distribute this inside. So it's -4 times x, -4x, -4 times +2, that's -8. And then we have this, -1, -1, y equals -4x minus 9. I'm going to do the other method, and we should get the same equation. Y equals mx plus b. Substitute the y, the m, and the x. Y value is -1, m value is -4, and x value is -2. We're going to multiply these two right here, and that's negative times negative, positive. 4 times 2 is 8. And now we need to get the b by itself, so we're going to subtract the 8 so we can cancel it. Subtract the 8 over here as well. This is gone, and now this leaves us with -9 equals b. And just like right here, we have that -9 as a b, and that's your slope. So this is the equation that is parallel. You can always graph this in your calculator to check if it's true. I'm going to show you that method once again. So you're going to do the equation they gave you. So y equals -4x plus 5. And then you're going to type the equation you created. So -4x minus 9. Notice that these two are parallel. And the red one is the one we created. So now we got to check that it goes through the point -2, -1. And let's see, we can trace it. Menu, trace, graph trace. And if we do left and right, it's just moving up and down on the line, but we need the red line. So we're going to go up and down to switch from red to blue. We're going to stay in the red, and we're going to go either to the left until we find that -1. But notice that it's not giving you that exact -1. So the reminder here is you can type the x value you're looking for. Here we're looking for, -2. And we're going to press enter, and notice that you do have -2 slash or comma -1, which is the point that we have. So that confirms that this answer is correct. Let's do the perpendicular example now, following the same process. But you always have to check if the equation they give you is giving you the slope right away. ax plus by equals c is what they're giving you. So this one needs to once again be rewritten like we did over here with this one with the 4 answers into mx plus b. If you're asking yourself, why do we have to do this? Well, once again, a perpendicular line is created when your slopes are opposite reciprocals of each other. That means one's positive, one's negative, and then they flip. So we need to know the slope that you have right now, and the only way we can find it is in this format because this is your slope. We need to rewrite by doing the 2 steps. Add or subtract the x term. We're going to subtract 3x from both sides and bring this down. -5y equals, we're going to write -3x, +5. And then divide by coefficient y. -5 divided by -5, -3 divided by -5, and 5 divided by -5. This results in y equals +3/5. And then positive divided by negative is negative. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So this is not the answer to the problem. This is you rewriting the equation that they gave you. And now you identify the slope. If this is y equals mx plus b, the slope is 3/5. And if we're going to do the opposite reciprocal for the new equation, then we need to do the opposite of what you have and flip it. So positive becomes negative, and 3/5 becomes 5/3. So this is the slope we're going to use. That's the perpendicular slope. Next, we're going to do the equation. So y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. We're going to substitute the y, the m, and the x1. Y minus your y value, which is negative 14, equals your slope, negative 5/3, parentheses, x minus your x1, which is 9. Then we simplify this, so y minus negative, that means y plus 14, equals, distributing this, that will be negative 5/3 times x, and negative 5/3 times negative 9. So that's positive. And let me just use the calculator to show you how to type that. You're going to do the fraction of negative 5/3 times negative 9. That's 15, positive 15. So we're going to do positive 15 as an answer. To get this into y equals mx plus b, this 14 needs to go to the other side. So minus 14, so you can cancel it here. And y equals negative 5/3 x, and 15 minus 14 is 1. This will be the answer to this question. And just to double check that we did it correct, you can always type it in the calculator. Let me clear this. The equation they gave you was y equals 3/5. So I'm going to put 3 divided by 5, x minus 1. And the one we created was negative 5/3 x plus 1. So look at that, it's perpendicular. Now let's check that this red line that we created goes through the point that they want you to go through, which is 9, negative 14. So we're going to do trace. And again, we're going to jump to the red line by going up or down. And we're going to scroll, or easier, type the x value you're looking for. We're looking for 9, so then we press enter, and notice that 9, negative 14 is a point on the line. So that confirms that this answer is correct. All right, one more problem and this video should be done. The next one is going over line of best fit. Anytime they ask you for line of best fit, you're going to do linear regression, which is putting this data in the calculator and finding what the equation in mx plus b is for that relationship of the data. After you find that equation, you might be asked to estimate new values. So right here it says estimate Luke's score for week 12. Week is at the top, so that means week is your x. So this 12 is an x. Score is your y. That means Luke's score will be the y. So to rephrase this, they're asking for what's the y value when x is 12? Or as a point, 12, comma, something is a point on that line that we're going to create. So there are several ways. There's the Desmos calculator way. I'm going to display the calculator way that we have in class to show you the steps. We're going to start with an Excel sheet. If tabs are open, it is always advised to delete them by Control Up, Delete, Delete. Once you have everything blank, you can press Home and open that again. That's 1.1. Now we're going to assign the column A with an X and column B with the Y. So that means all of the numbers here are X's and all of the numbers here are Y's. So using the data given here in this table, we're going to type the X values of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the Y values, we're going to type 95, 92, 89, 88, 86, 84. After these, we are going to click here on an empty cell and just press menu, statistics, stat calculations, and linear regression, MX plus B. It's going to ask you what do you want to use for X. We're going to say X because we assigned the column that has X, and then Y for the Y list. Pressing OK takes you immediately to linear regression, which is this value for M, this value for B. We will talk more about the R's, but not yet, another time. So just using this as your M and this as your B, we're going to write an equation. So that will be, let me see, Y equals, your M was negative 2.11 and your B was 96.4. So it's going to look like this. Y equals negative 2.11 X plus 96.4. That is the line of best fit. Sometimes that's all they want in a question, but sometimes they want you to predict. So remember we talked about predicting when X is 12. So what we can do now is go to our calculator. Let me bring it over. And we are going to graph this. There are several methods here, but the quickest one, I always just go here and type the equation we created. So that's negative 2.11 X plus 96.4. The graph is in there, but we need to trace it. Graph, trace. Now you can see the y-intercept immediately, which is at 96.4, right there, the b value. And we're looking for when x is 12. Again, it's faster to just type the x value you're looking for, press and enter, and then that's the y value, 71.1. That is the answer to the question. That is the score that Luke will have on week 12. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up and I hope this video helps you.